Hello everyone, my name is Cora. Welcome to my channel, Pampered Pages, and welcome to my top 10 favorite books of 2024. Back in June, I posted this video, and to preface, each book in that video has retained a spot on my final list. Also, if you're interested in hearing more information about any of my final picks, links to previous videos can be found in the description. Also, one more thing, this video will be spoiler-free. In alphabetical order, because ranking sounds like absolute anguish at the moment, I have A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a Norse-inspired adult fantasy romance that follows a shield maiden named Freya. Freya is bound in an unwanted marriage and spends her days gutting fish, but dreams of becoming a warrior. However, after an act of betrayal from her husband that lands her in a fight to the death against the son of the region's Jarl, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret, a magical secret that has been foretold to help unite the fractured nation beneath the one who controls her fate. I savored every minute with this book, and I was immediately sucked into Freya's journey. To reiterate, the action and banter had me on the edge of my seat, kicking my feet in anticipation, and I'm eagerly awaiting to see how this duology concludes with Book 2, A Curse Carved in Bone, which comes out this May. Now I just need to decide on whether or not I want to do a reread. Second is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. In this paranormal romance, we follow Misery Lark, daughter of a powerful vampire councilman who is called upon to marry Lo Morland, an alpha werewolf, in order to uphold a political alliance between the weres and vampires. Now, Misery has her own motives for this marriage, and she is willing to do whatever it takes to see them through. As I've mentioned, Bride was my first Ali Hazelwood read, and I am extremely grateful for the escape it brought me during the time that I read it. Bride also invoked a sense of nostalgia for me, and my inner Twilight-enthused teen self felt seen. I don't foresee myself forgetting Misery's character anytime soon, nor her creator. This next book marks a conclusion for a pair of characters I had my hesitations about at the beginning, and that book is Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings. Into the Dark left me in quite a reflective state, which I did not see coming, but is also a big reason why it is on my list. I'm not okay. Currently in the Magnolia Parks universe, there are 5 books published, each alternating between Magnolia and Daisy's storylines, with Magnolia's storyline ending here in book 5. There are also additional POVs from other primary characters in each book, while one explores the elite and rather lavish social scene of London. These books were a journey, and I'd traverse them again. The characters are not perfect by any means, and some of the issues they go through are absolutely heartbreaking, but that is what kept me going. The MPU has burrowed itself into my heart, and I look back on my experience with this series fondly. Up next, I have Just for the Summer by Evie Jimenez. I initially picked up this book because I thought the premise was cute. 2 people with the same dating curse. Each person they date seems to find their soulmate as soon as they break up, so they concoct a plan to cancel out their curses. They'll date each other. In my opinion, Evie Jimenez does a great job writing complex characters. The 2 main characters you meet in Just for the Summer, Emma and Justin, have pasts and issues that are brought to light as they conduct their curse-breaking plan. Overall, I found myself really enjoying Jimenez's storytelling, and I look forward to reading more. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig is up next, and honestly, I could sneak in 2 Twisted Crowns and make this a twofer. One Dark Window is a gothic fantasy that follows MC Elspeth Spindle, who joins a secret quest to cure her kingdom from the dark magic infecting it. Elspeth also harbors an additional secret, the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped inside of her head who is slowly taking over her mind. This duology had an intriguing cast of characters, ominous imagery, and a lyrical magic system that had me hooked. The Shepherd King duology is one I could slap a red bow on and be perfectly satisfied with how everything concluded. Imagery is big for me, and Rebecca Serle nailed it in One Italian Summer. This is a story about a woman named Katie, who after the loss of her mother decides to embark on their planned mother-daughter trip to Positano, Italy. Dealing with her grief and being where her mother lived before she met her father has Katie wondering what her mother must have been like back then. But she doesn't have to wait long for answers, because she ends up encountering her mother, healthy, glowing, and 30 years old. You may be wondering, or not, how in the world does this happen? Well, that is what you find out as Katie and her mother get to have their long-awaited trip. Kind of, just not in the way they initially planned. To preface, I have an affinity for books about travel, especially when the places explored are places I've been to or want to go to. I've also come to realize that magical realism is a genre that easily hooks me. With that, those are just a couple of the reasons why I included One Italian Summer on my list of 2024 faves. If you've been following along on my channel since February-ish of last year, then this book will come as no surprise, but if not, welcome to my love for The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. This story follows three characters, Opaline, Martha, and Henry, who are united by time, a bookshop, and the desire to break away from beliefs and lives unbefitting. As time unfolds, these three individuals find themselves transported to a world of wonder where dreams can be reality and reality can be a little magical. Give me historical fiction infused with magical realism and consider me set. The Lost Bookshop was emotively beautiful and I will forever be under this bookshop spell. I love when I immediately click with the main character in the story, and The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood had an MC that really vibed with my personal inner monologue from the beginning. In the story, you follow a woman named Delphi, who finds herself in an afterlife waiting room after choking on a microwavable burger. There, she meets a woman named Merritt, her assigned afterlife therapist in Evermore. After watching her life flash before her eyes, Delphi ends up running into another unfortunate soul, a rather hot unfortunate soul, but their interaction gets cut very short because there's been an admin glitch and this dreamy stranger gets sent back down to Earth. Trying to wrap her head around everything that is happening, Delphi decides that she wants to go back to Earth as well. So Merritt offers her a deal she has 10 days to make happen, or it's back to Evermore forevermore. ... I had a blast with Delphi. I also had a hunch that there would be humor and heart-pulling moments, and there were. This was the first book I read for my fall TBR, and I would definitely recommend it as either a fall or Valentine's Day themed read. Alongside The Lost Bookshop is another beautiful story that I had to include on my list, and that is The Night Ship by Jess Kidd. This book reignited my love for historical fiction. Not that it was ever extinguished, but I feel like it had been smoldering for a while. This story follows two timelines and two main characters. You have a little girl named Macon in 1629 and a little boy named Gil in 1989. In 1629, Macon is bound for the Dutch East Indies aboard the Batavia, and 3 centuries later, Gil is sent to live with his grandfather on a small island off the coast of Australia where he discovers the story of an infamous shipwreck. This story kept me glued to its pages in hope. In my opinion, Jess Kidd did a remarkable job at linking two characters over 3 centuries, and I love how her storytelling inspired me to research the context even further. The Night Ship encompasses many themes, and many of my tears were shed throughout its course. And finally, to wrap things up, I have another Jess Kidd read, Things in Jars. This is a book my thoughts consistently return to, and I'm not surprised. This story takes place in 1863 Victorian London and follows our main character, Bridie Devine, a detective extraordinaire who takes on the case of Christabel Berwick, a young girl who has been kidnapped from her home and who is also very, very unique. With the help of certain individuals, Bridie scours London looking for Christabel, while also confronting bits of her own past that draw her closer and closer to answers. ... Jess Kidd has a mesmerizing way of infusing fantasy elements into historical time periods. There was an eerily dark undertone that whispered and weaved itself within this story. If you've ever read Nancy Drew or My Name is Mary Sutter, this book had a similar vibe for me. It was definitely a captivating read. Some very quick honorable mentions include Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid and The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. As the eldest of my siblings, these two just hit a bit differently for me. If I were to close my eyes and think back over everything I read last year, those would be the covers that come to mind. I also want to mention that curating this list brought about some interesting reflection. I enjoyed seeing what genres, POVs, and themes I gravitated towards, and I hope 2025 brings more wonderful stories my way. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, a wonderful reading year, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you soonish. Bye!